Good afternoon, Commissioner Cardenas. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, my chair. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Ready to get going here. All right, we will call to order our FPPC Budget and Staffing Committee meeting. It's June 9th, 2020. It's a little after 2 o'clock. Ms. Linker, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Cardenas?
Here.
Chair Matich?
Here. First item is public comment for items not on the agenda. At this time, is there any public comment either over the telephone or digitally for items not on the agenda? Hearing and seeing none, we'll proceed to item number 2, approval of the May 4th, 2020 committee meeting minutes. Commissioner Cardenas, did you have any edits or comments on the meeting minutes?
I do not.
Excellent. Would you care to make a motion to approve those minutes?
Yes, so moved.
All right, second. Ms. Linker?
Commissioner Cardenas?
Yes.
Chair Matich?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Excellent. All right, on to item number 3. This is an informational item from our Acting Executive Director, Larissa Hahn, on agency vacancies. Ms. Hahn, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Chair and Commissioner Cardenas. I'm here to talk about the agency vacancies. I provided the FPPC org chart, and the org chart itself, the boxes that are yellow are the vacant position at this point. But to remind both of you that all the yellow box except for one has been either advertised or it's been in the middle of like an interview process already currently. So we really only have one current vacancy that's without being either advertised or being recruited at this point. And that is the CEA vacant position that is to the right of the executive director box.
Great. Can you remind us what that CEA position is intended to encompass?
Yes, so the original CEA position was history-wise back at 2014, it was the technical assistant chief. So it does, after 2016, we actually dispersed that division, and some of the staff end up in admin division, such as the unit of the SCI Form 700 unit. The legal division absorbed it, the advice unit, which is the telephone advice unit. And then the second unit that they absorb is the technical email advice unit. And between those units, they're also the educational unit that we provide outreach and education information on.
Great, thank you. One other question I had is, my understanding is that some legislation from either last year or the year before, I believe we're getting some new positions because of that legislation. Is that reflected in the vacancies identified here, or would those be additional vacancies?
No, we have not added those to our org charts because we don't have the funding yet, and we will not get the funding until July 1st. So as soon as we have the funding allocations approved, then I would add them to our org chart. Now, there is 6 positions that we receive from that legislation, and within those 6 positions that we receive, 3 of the 6 we have already put out for advertisement, and it's currently on our website that's been advertised. And we have verbiage to state that that's pending on budget approval.
All right. What types of, for those 3 that we've already advertised, what positions are those?
So the 3 positions we advertise are 1 senior counsel in the enforcement divisions, 1 investigator in the enforcement divisions, and 1 political reform consultant / staff service analyst that's on our in the enforcement division as well.
And what are the 3 positions that are new?
The other 3 that have not been advertised, and we're working on those, and one of them is the auditor position that's within the enforcement divisions, and one of them is a senior/counsel position in the legal divisions, and the very last one is a political reform consultant within the legal divisions.
All right. So we have 6 vacancies on the chart. And then we have 6 more vacancies that in about 3 weeks we'll receive funding for. So is that about a total of 12 vacancies that we're looking to fill this year then?
Correct.
Thank you. Commissioner Cardenas, do you have any comments, observations, questions for Ms. Hahn?
Larissa, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Would you please remind us, or maybe just remind me, on the org chart I see designated blue box and a couple of pink boxes, or maybe
Sure.
aqua, magenta, whatever they are. What do the color designations signify?
I'll start with the magenta box. Those 2 are limited term positions. So 2 years ago, we received some legislation that was approved, and Department of Finance only gave us 3-year budget authority for those positions. So they're 36-month limited term positions, and that's why they're pink, because we want to identify those who will go away after June of 2021. And then the blue position is actually a retired annuitant that we hire. So that person is only in a temporary box. It's not really a position that we have. It's just because that person is a retired annuitant that we recruit back that have retired out from FPPC. That is, the position basically is hired to help us to train the new auditor that's within that unit.
Got it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, by the way, Mr. Chair, if I may ask another question.
Please.
What are the numbers? These 14-digit numbers underneath or within every box?
The digit is to identify one where the funding comes from, because we have 2 sets of different funding. The second set is the 100 or versus the 001 number. It's to identify which division they belong to, the position origin, and then the second to the last set are classifications. The state has number identifying each classification they're at. And the very last 3 digits are digits that is where we allocated the position in which divisions.
Got it. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
So Ms. Hahn, with respect to Mr. Parna's position, and that's the blue box program specialist 2, I think, the retired annuitant.
Yes.
What is the time frame for his continued work here at the agency as a retired annuitant?
We did not put a time frame on it. It was more of a as needed basis, because we have temporary blanket authority, and our temporary blanket authority is one position that most agencies have the finance authorized in case you have to either do temporary help blanket, or you want to bring a retired annuitant that retire out and you want them, because of the expertise, to come back to help you to train the new staff. And those are authority that each agency have. And so we have that one in our department. And for Bob Perner, we did not set a time frame because of his specialized skills. So he's been a retired annuitant. I believe this is his 3rd year already that he's been here.
Okay. And part of the reason I ask is because I know Mr. Parna has done excellent work for us and been very helpful in a number of the enforcement matters that have come before the commission. So I would hope that he would continue indulging us with his time as a retired annuitant, because I know he's a very valuable employee here at the agency.
Yes, I agree.
What is the timing on the, you mentioned that I think 5 of the existing vacancies that you have here on yellow, that those have already been advertised. What's the timing on filling those? The ledge council one, which I'm well aware is in our bucket.
Okay, I'm going to go from left to right of the chart. In admin division, there's a box of the legal secretary, and I currently loaned that out to legal division to advertise. They had a PRC there that left, and then so I loaned them to the legal division, so they're already utilizing that box currently. I just don't have the position because I mean the person's name in there because we don't have the name, but the job's been interviewed, so we're waiting for a candidate to be selected on that one.
Okay.
And then the second FPPC council one, I currently advertise for enforcement because we have the additional 6 positions that's coming in through the legislation. But in order for me to give them, I have to, actually, they currently have 2 senior counsel advertised out there. And this is one of the ones that I loaned to them for them to do recruitment on. I think that one should be closed in a couple of weeks. We just advertised it early this week. And then the third position, which is the office technician, it's actually our receptionist positions, and I believe the interview is it's scheduled for tomorrow on that. And then the next one over in the legal division, there's a vacant SSA position, and I believe Suki and Ivory is conducting interview the next coming 2 weeks. I believe they already told me that. And then moving over to enforcement division, the vacant special investigator limited term has been advertised, and I believe that should close in the next week or so.
All right. Great. Thank you. Commissioner Cardenas, do you have any additional comments or questions for Ms. Hahn on the organizational chart?
Thank you. No, I do not at this time.
Great. Do we have any public comment on item 3, our discussion of agency vacancies? Hearing and seeing none, we'll proceed to item 4, which presumably we will, this is our FPPC organizational chart, so I assume we will be sticking with the org chart that we were just looking at. Ms. Hahn?
Yes, that's, this is not the latest, but it's very close to the latest org chart that we have currently, minus the new 6 positions that we mentioned earlier that I will add them in once we get the funding starting on July 1st.
Great. Our org chart, is that something that we have up on our website?
We currently don't have this org chart up on the website, but if you like, I can actually add it to the website.
All right. That was more just a question. Commissioner Cardenas, did you have any questions, observations for Ms. Hahn on the organizational chart?
Mr. Chair, thank you. The org chart that we're working off of, I assume we're all working off of the same one. I'm using the most recent one received from you, Larissa.
Yes.
It shows 2 people in the organization reporting to the chair, the executive director, and the commission assistant. Is that actually reflective of whatever constitutes our reality right now? Rosa.
Actually, so the line kind of tells the story, the blue line that's going across each box. So basically, the executive director and the commission assistants goes up to the chair, but then the chair has his line, the box branch out to the commissioner. So basically, the ED and the commission assistants go to the full commission as far as reporting mechanisms, because the line that goes up to the chair box actually split among all the commissioners with the blue line across.
Okay, so so that is an articulation of the flow of authority from the executive director and the commission assistant to the board as a whole. Let me ask this another way. First, limited to this org chart, and then my second question will be: is the answer different if we're not limiting the answer to this org chart? And the question is, based on your understanding, I'll start first with your understanding, Larissa. Who reports to the chair?
Who directly reports to the chair? Is that your question, Commissioner Karnes?
Yes.
Okay. Based on my understanding is operational wise, the ED and the commission assistant do report to the chair. Operational wise, but not personnel wise. Does that make sense? I'm sorry. It's just how it's been done here, and that's my understanding of the interpretation and how the reporting mechanism works within our commission. So basically, the ED gets his or her assignment through the commission as a whole, but then reports more like the day-to-day operation to the chair.
Yes. Yes.
And not really receive direct assignment from the chair. And the ED actually receive his or her assignment among all the commissioner and the chair. And then, but the day-to-day operation, yes, the ED reports to the chair on day-to-day operations. That's my interpretation, how the reporting mechanism work within the executive branch of this commission.
Yes, and I share what I understand to be your articulation of your understanding, Larissa. Once upon a time, in the city of Los Angeles, this is over a quarter century ago, I served on the Board of Public Works, which is the only full-time salaried commission to this day in the city charter established governance system of the city of Los Angeles. We used to say that any bureau heads, we had like 5 or 6 bureaus: engineering, sanitation, street lighting, street maintenance, etc. Any bureau head's boss at any given moment was any action by a majority of her board on the issue in question. And it's, do you, Larissa, believe that that is an accurate articulation of the authority relationship between the executive director and her or his board now?
I believe that is current structure within our commission, from the executive director to the commission themselves, yes.
To whom does the to whom does the head of the legal division answer?
To whom does the legal division answer? So the legal division reports to the executive director.
What about legislative council when it is filled?
It's to the executive director.
And it's the same with respect to uh, your position and the head of enforcement?
Correct. Basically, on my org chart, the way it's set up, all the blue line that's across from the executive director are the direct report. So the executive director actually manage the director, the legislative council, the chief of enforcement, the general counsel, and the chief of admin.
Okay. And the, did you mention the CEA and the information officer?
Yes, yes.
I have no further questions at this time.
Is there any public comment on item number 4, our FPPC organizational chart? Hearing and seeing none. Thank you, Ms. Hahn. Commissioner Cardenas, at this time, remaining item is a closed session. So at this point, I think we are ready to adjourn into closed session. So if you hang tight, we're going to clear out the room and then we'll proceed with closed session.
Terrific. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Cardenas. We're now in closed session. We have 2 items. We have an update on the Ledge Council hiring and then the executive director.
Okay.
Just adjourn and we'll go to All right, we've just concluded our closed session, and we have no reportable items to report out on at this point. So with that, Commissioner Cardenas, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I move to adjourn.
All right, I'll second that. Ms. Linker?
Commissioner Cardenas?
Yes.
Chair Matich?
Aye.
The motion passes.
Great. Thank you very much. Take care, Commissioner Cardenas.
Stay safe, be well.
All right.